Welcome to Squirrel Trails. I'm David.
And I'm Al.
Today we're going to have some anger problems.
Okay. That's not unusual for you.
No.
Let's try to keep it to a minimum. We talked about it on the Facebook site that you could actually probably play a drinking game as we go through this video. Just watch David for odd ticks and motions because he gets pretty excited about the topic we're going to get in through. And you could probably not be sober within the next 15, 20 minutes.
So we're going to try to keep this under 15.
Yes.
That's probably going to be your goal, sadly enough.
That is my goal.
Which is usually mine, but this time it's yours.
I'm not going to go off the rails on this.
No, that's why I said you keep track of time.
Yes.
Not me.
So, have we even said what we're going to talk about?
So we're talking about, good point. We are talking about California AB5, Assembly Bill 5.
Which is?
Their way to screw the gig economy.
Yeah. Let's just not sugarcoat the way you actually feel about this. Okay, so California law, Assembly Bill 5 is all about, essentially, and it's very directly saying that we're going to make Uber and Lyft drivers employees.
Yes. So essentially, if you're I wouldn't even call it self-employed.
Well, yeah, you are.
But usually self-employed means you have a business name.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
Well, you should.
No, it doesn't.
But you should.
No.
You get better tax codes that way.
Okay, but whole other conversations.
Just to say. And actually reading... Okay.
Okay.
I'm
sorry, folks.
Sorry. Tax code.
Again, he reads tax code for fun.
So they're going after essentially Uber and Lyft drivers and DoorDash.
Yeah.
Or DineDash, or whatever it is.
Whatever. Yeah.
Because
I think dining and dash is something else altogether. Stop it.
Thank you. And the reason they're going after them is because some of the drivers, and I quote, some
of the drivers
feel that they deserve more money.
So let's talk about what the gig economy is.
Okay.
So in this situation, Uber and Lyft and Lord knows any number of other industries
Yes.
Are all fall into this thing we call a gig economy. And what that means is you get paid for each function that you perform.
You get paid for every job that you do.
Yeah, each job you do. So that could be picking somebody up and dropping them off, like Uber or Lyft.
Yep.
Delivering a product, like any number of delivery companies that do that.
Writing an article for a company.
Yeah. So you'd be amazed at how many people get paid literally by the article, sometimes by the word, for writing articles.
Would that include authors for books? Because are they employed by the
Publishing company? Well, okay, so here's the rule on publishing.
You know publishing because you read books?
Yeah. I would like to use would read books too. But so the rule under this is you're allowed to write X number of articles for a given publication.
Sure. Yep.
So I think it's like 5 or something. It's not very many. And so the average writer, though, if they're writing for by piece to, say, the Wall Street Journal as an example, they may write 52 weekly articles.
Sure.
And they get paid for 52 articles individually. They're not an employee of that publication, but they're a contractor who provides content.
Yes.
Now, in the situation of an author, there are not many authors that write more than 5 books at a time. I mean, there's
one book a year, maybe.
Actually, there are some that actually churn them out pretty rapidly that have a really good formula.
Sure.
I used to be a huge fan of some science fiction books written that way, and some I hate to say this, the Destroyer and the Executioner series, which churned out a bunch every year because it's pretty much a straight formula.
Yeah.
Great reads, didn't have to think a lot, lots of good humor, but not what you'd call heavy thought processes.
Sure. So authors, no.
Yeah, authors probably not.
Okay.
Except for the rare exception.
Sure.
But no, for the average independent, there's an interesting question. How about if you're putting out a a video blog.
I wasn't going to go there. I did not want to, because take a look at all the YouTubers
Yeah,
that work for a organization.
right.
Would they be considered contractors?
So,
But anyways,
let's walk
okay,
through what the
that's-
3 rules are before
Sure.
we completely go off the rails.
'Cause this,
So, oh, good
this should
Lord.
be a long video, but it's not going
No,
to be,
it's
hopefully.
not going to be a long video. Just saying. Well, I'll put it this way: it could be a long video, but
not right
there'll
now.
only be somebody talking. There'll only be one person talking.
Or arguing.
Yeah. Well, no. Okay, so I was going to ask, will you argue with yourself? But I know the answer is going to be yes. So within AB5, there's 3 rules. It's called the ABC rule, and to determine whether or not somebody should be classified as a contractor.
Yep.
And if you don't meet all 3 of these requirements, you are now classified as an employee.
So you have to meet all 3.
All 3.
Okay.
And we talked about this a month or 2 ago when
About
this
a month
was
ago.
first
Yep.
passed. But so let's just revisit it real quick. I mean, the first one is the worker is free from control and direction of the hiring entity in connection with how they perform that work. So
Okay.
you have to be able to do the job any way you want to do that.
Sure.
So, okay, that kind of works. Most drivers can do that however they want to get there and go.
Okay. Yep.
So the worker
Okay.
the worker customarily engaged in a independently established trade, occupation, or business. Let me do this again. The worker is customarily engaged in an independently established trade, occupation, or business of the same nature as the work performed. Okay, well, they're driving. They're kind of on their own.
Sure. Okay.
The worker performs work that is outside the usual course of the hiring entity's business. Oops.
Yeah.
So what's happening with this is that component, and the legislators did a kind of a nice job. They went through and they thought about all the normal kind of jobs.
Sure.
Realtors, insurance agents, truck
Wrestlers.
drivers. I don't think they talked about wrestlers. So that one was, no.
Oh, you're right.
Wrestlers are hanging out in the wind as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So,
Because there is a list of
yes.
and if you actually read the bill, most of those end after a year.
Ooh, that'll be entertaining in a year.
Both people haven't talked about it, but if you actually read it, there's a deadline for each one.
So
This lasts. You're exempt for a 6 months to a year.
So we should probably have that conversation. Another short video
Yes,
on just those exemptions and when they come out of play.
that's a good idea.
Okay. That happens now and again. Just ask my boss. They pay me money to have good ideas. So don't go there. So, completely lost it. So coming
okay.
back to reality.
Yep. So that last point.
Right. So you have to meet all 3 of these requirements.
Yep.
And while the legislature did a nice job to figure out all the things they would normally think about as jobs,
Yep.
there's a lot of other jobs out in the world that they didn't think about.
No.
The big ones that are making the news right now, this last couple of weeks, are writers, as you might guess, because we talked about that.
Yep.
And then the other one is, entertainingly enough, taxi cab
Drivers.
Yeah, that one blew my mind.
It was surprising because we talked about it.
Yeah.
A little bit before we shot the video. Both of us assumed
Absolutely.
that taxi cab drivers were hourly employees.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely assume that's the case. Now, of course, we all know what assumed means.
We can't say that, but
Yeah, we can't say that. But it is one of those things that I hadn't realized, to be honest, at least in California, a lot of the taxi cab drivers are independently contractors.
Yeah, I mean they pay for the medallions.
Well, they rent the medallion.
They rent. So they rent the medallion, or they buy their own medallion.
Or they buy their own medallion.
But they're also paying for all their own fuel, their maintenance, the vehicles.
Yeah, because they're, and it depends on the organization, but
Sure.
in many cases, they're treated very similar to, I don't know, maybe delivery truck drivers.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to
Basically the
provide
same
all
thing.
those same things. It's just they don't require forklifts unless they're taking me out to get in and to get their load in and out.
Yep, true. I mean, truck drivers usually aren't alive. I don't move any material that's alive.
Okay, because what you said is truck drivers aren't normally alive. And I was
Again, it's been a long day.
okay. Oh, I would like to think he's going to cut that, but I know better.
Nope.
So
Back on track.
Okay, back on track. It's just side story.
Again, we should totally go on the radio podcast.
Yes. So we do. I've actually been told we should change this to Doug Trails because we call it Squirrel Trails because we bounce all around the place. But when you think about the way the term squirrel came from, the guy that said it was actually a dog named Doug.
Yep. And if you don't know the reference, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just look up.
Just look it up. It's there someplace. And ask a comment. David will take pity on you at some point in time and respond.
The key word in what we just said was the word up.
Yes, good point. Okay, so as we were not going anyplace.
Nope.
So taxi cab drivers do have a significant amount of their own capital that are involved, but they get paid pretty much by the gig. And
they get paid exactly what Uber and Lyft does.
Right.
The same. They're essentially the same thing, but with a taxi company.
Right. So they've got
And surprisingly enough, most of the taxi companies are on apps now.
right.
That's where things kind of went south.
So is there any real difference between Uber and Lyft and a taxi cab company?
The medallion.
The medallion. So it's the local governments who manage these things.
The local union.
Yes. So.
And again, the union was behind the push.
Yeah,
was helping push this bill.
Okay, because when I make a group of dissatisfied contractors, employees, they're probably going to become unionized.
Yep, that
Just
way.
the way it works.
Especially if you have a known group of drivers,
Right.
that don't like what they're doing, are great protesters.
So, but let's be honest. Unions aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Let's be absolutely honest here.
Yes.
That in this situation, where you're getting, however you choose, whether it's a union or it's a group of folks that just organize themselves, however that works, this is actually a case of where folks that are feel like they're being misused can work together to get that system changed. Now, but the problem is, let's go back to this. Uber and Lyft never anticipated that people are going to be working for them full time.
That is where things, for me,
Yes.
I have a problem with. Because yes, you're absolutely right. Uber and Lyft are meant for a side hustle.
Right.
In all reality, Uber and Lyft, it's a side hustle.
Right.
It isn't your bread and butter.
Well, but the problem is because of the way it's built, there's no reason it couldn't be.
You're right.
But you're not going to make a ton of money at it.
It could be. Well, it can.
Yeah.
I know drivers that do.
Okay.
That make a full-time living.
Right.
And compare a house and again, it also depends on the where you're living at.
I mean, that's
Living
going
in
to be a
Minnesota
challenge.
here,
Right.
Homes are a lot less cheaper than California.
Sure.
So, price of a living wage does
Right.
fluctuate.
It's going to change, but I mean, I would guess that the Uber rates would change from location to location.
Hopefully.
As well.
But people assumed, I can do this full time. I'll just quit my job and make some good money, and I can work when I want. I can get off when I want. I can not work for a week if I don't want to. That's okay because this is my side hustle. This is part time.
Well, you
Expecting.
But you just said part time.
They even say it.
Yeah.
The people that are all for this bill say, "Oh yeah, it's because I can get off when I want, start when I want. I can be around my family when I want. I
Yeah.
can work. You're talking about a part-time job.
Right.
And a part-time job, in all reality, is not going to make a livable wage. I'm sorry.
Just generally, it shouldn't be an expectation.
Shouldn't be an expectation.
Now, would it be nice if that were the case?
It'd be awesome.
Absolutely, but that's probably not going to be the case.
No.
Well, there are some industries where that would be the case.
Sure.
But you work like a dog for 4 or 5 months or 6 months out of the year, and then you've got it all.
And I'm before. So we're gonna wrap this up before I start ranting and raving. If you,
Well, we didn't even really get into the freelance writers as much as we could have.
no, okay, we got the drivers, which is yeah. If you are an Uber or Lyft driver, if you okay, not even that. If you support this bill, AB5, please make a comment. And I mean, in all reality,
David or I will reach out to you. We would actually like to hear what people are thinking about.
yes. Instead of coming from our point of view, that someone that I would like. We even talked about it.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
I would like to have a conversation with someone that is on the other side of the aisle.
Right.
In all terms,
Well, in this
I guess.
case, yeah. I mean, the other side of the road in this case.
We're both chickens, so none of us are gonna cross it. Oh man.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To show the raccoon how it could be done.
Oh man. So many little jokes. But yes,
Some of them
if
might
you
even be
do support this
California,
bill,
right?
let it. I mean, how do I? I mean,
So send us a comment, and I'll tell you what. Send a note to
hold on.
Al.
No. Send an email to squirreltrails.com. Right? Squirreltrails at
How are they going to do that?
gmail.com.
Okay. Oh, do we have a? Okay, yeah. Squirreltrails@gmail.com. Good point.
So we do have Gmail. If you want to reach out to us, you can. So it is squirreltrails@gmail.com.
And we're not normally. Well, yeah, we are normally this clueless. So please, yes.
If you've watched this video in a year, the email may not be working anymore. So please, yeah. So yes, please reach out to us. I would have a decent conversation with someone about this, and yeah.
If you're local to the area, we'll try to make it happen there. Otherwise, we'll do it via Skype or something.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to have a really good conversation with this to understand. Because to be honest, you work in the gig economy.
I work in the gig economy. It's what I do for a living.
I'm a salary slave.
Yes.
So
I am. Actually, my household is
Yes.
based upon my income,
right.
and I live the gig economy.
Right. So it can be done. We won't talk about how many hours a day you put in.
Nope. Not, maybe on yours and I conversation we will, because my wife hates my hours.
So, but let's talk about this some more. We'll clearly end up. Whenever I find a good article on this, it's just fun watching David light up. So
Yeah.
We'll talk more about this. There's going to be a lot more conversations on this. There's going to be a lot more industries that are getting impacted as people start thinking about it.
And once it goes to court, we will follow the court case.
Yeah, this is a fascinating cultural change within our society right now. So it'll be fun to watch.
Not to, we've already gone a little too long for 15. So we're going to go a little over 15. I apologize. But you're a little older than I am.
No, I'm also
So-
your dad, so that kind of works that way.
right.
It's
Yep.
supposed to work that way.
work that way. Yeah. So you've been through a couple time periods, right?
Some people might call them eons, but yes.
Not eons. But I mean, so cultural changes.
Yes.
So I mean, because 70s, 80s, I mean, there have been some big changes.
Right.
All those went to court.
Now that I think about it, many of them did.
Yeah. So could this be that court case?
We'll talk about this on another video.
Yeah. So, because I'm just thinking about.
Stop.
I'm just okay. So yes, we will. So with that, don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to send us an email. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, thank you for watching.
Take care, folks.